Hi there, this is Danielle Dunlap for Possum Stamps. As we're getting closer to Easter, I'm going to make an Eastern card with you here. And I'm going to use the new excellent cupcake stamp set. I'm using the serving tray from the Let's Roll stamp set. And for my background, I'm going to use the retro confetti stencil. I will also be using some of the new Spring Bling sequin mix. I stamped 3 of the cupcakes and the serving tray of the Let's Roll stamp set, and I'm starting to color my images now. For the bunny bum that is sticking out of one of the cupcakes and also the ears on the other cupcake, I'm using E41, E42, E43, and E44. That's my favorite color to do bunnies if I want brown bunnies. And I'm working here on some darker shadows. The bottom of the feet, I'm not going to do anything complicated. I'm going to use just my E44, my darkest color. And the little tail is going to be a little darker as well. So with the ears, I'm going to start with my lightest color to just put some ink down. It always helps with the blending if you soak your cardstock a little bit. And then I'm going to blend in the darker colors for some shadowing. And on the left ear, I'm doing a little bit more shadowing because the ear is folded over. So you're going to have a little more crevices where a shadow is going to show up. For the inside of the ears, I'm using some pinks, RV 000 and RV 10. I don't want it to be anything dark, but just a little hint of pink inside the ears. I'm going to use these same pinks on some layers of the cupcakes. And I want the pink to stand out a little more here. So I'm adding a darker pink, RV21. And I'm adding a little more of that for a darker shadow, and then the rest of the layer is going to be a little lighter pink. I'm going to use mainly pastel colors on this card because that is just the ultimate spring to me. And I'm going to repeat colors that I use on one cupcake on the other cupcakes as well, so it forms more of a unity. So on the cupcake with the eggs, I'm going to color one of the eggs in this pink. And then my next pastel color is a mint teal color. And I'm using G000, G00, and YG41. The YG41 was a new color for me in this mix, but I felt like it didn't stand out much. So I changed that one out for a BG32. Which gives a much better shadow with these light G colors. Now I'm going to use the same color on one of the layers of the cupcakes. So that same color returns on the next cupcake. The next color I'm bringing in is a pastel yellow, and I'm using Y000, Y00, and Y11. And I'm using that for one of the eggs. And then I'm also going to add it for a layer of the cupcake. I used that same yellow on a layer of the other cupcake. And now I'm going to bring in some lilacs. And I'm using V000, V01, and V12. And I'm going to use these colors on the 2 different cupcakes, the 2 layers that I have left. For the cupcake wrappers, I wanted to use a color that was a little more dull because I wanted the cupcakes themselves to stand out more with the pastel colors. So the cupcake wrappers are YG61, G43, and G42. And G42 being my darkest color. I've never used this combination before, but it kind of worked out pretty well, I think. And I'm having my shadows at the bottom and the sides. And then I'm going back in to have those folds in the paper wrappers just a little darker as well. I wanted the tray to be a wooden color, so I used E53, E55, and E57. And first I lay down a layer of the lightest color, and then I'm starting to blend in my shadows. In the end, you're not going to see that much of the tray as the cupcakes are going to be on it. So you don't have to be too particular about the shadowing, but I always like to do it anyway. I don't have the dice for these sets, so I fussy cut all the images. And now it's time to start working on my background. I'm using the retro confetti background stencil, and I'm not going to use it over the entire background of my card. So I marked a strip off with some masking tape, and then I'm going to do some patches of color with Distress Oxide Spun Sugar and Distress Oxide Tumbled Glass. And by creating these patches and having some parts blended with each other, I'm going to end up with a pastel pink, a pastel blue, and mixed you have a pastel lilac. Look at this reveal. It's so pretty. Next, I'm going to stamp my sentiment in the white part of my background. And I'm using black VersaFine ink. And I always like to stamp it twice just to make sure that I have a very crisp print of my sentiment. It's time to start build up my card. And I'm using glue to put down the serving tray there on my card. I'm also using glue for 2 of the cupcakes. So they are going to be more so in the background. And then for the 3rd cupcake that's going to go in the middle, I'm using some foam squares so that it's going to pop up a little bit. Off camera, I also stamped and colored that little peep from the stamp set. I decided later on that I wanted to add it. And I'm going to glue that one all the way over on the left at the tray. I randomly placed some of the sweet sequins from the Spring Bling sequin mix all over the stenciled part of my background. And when I do this, I always like to lay them out first so that I'm sure that I'm happy with where they're going to be. And then I'm going to glue them all down. Then I decided I wanted to add some glitter to my card as well. So I'm using my Quickie glue pen and I'm following some of these lines of the cupcake layers. And I also added some glitter to the eggs and to that little peep. It is a lot easier to add this glitter before you put your images on your card. There's going to be glitter sticking all over the place anyway if you do it this way. It is possible. You would just have to wait until it is all dried, and then with a clean brush you can all wipe it off. I put some foam squares on the back of my card, so it's going to pop up a little bit from my card base. And as a final touch, I'm going to add some chunky glitter, and I'm using glossy accents. The bottom of my glossy accents was a bit messed up, because what I want is just a little bit of that bigger glitter right underneath the cupcakes so that it's like it's a layer on that serving tray. So a little bit more glue came out of my bottle, so I ended up with more glitter than I wanted to, but I'm still happy the way it turned out. It takes a good 30 to 45 minutes before those glossy accents are dry. So you have to wait for that, and then you can take the excess glitter off your card with a brush again. So here's my finished card. I hope you enjoyed watching this come together. We can't wait to see what you guys create with our new Easter stamp sets. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye bye.